McClellan.
Thank you, Mr. President. Speaking to the bill.
Senator has the floor.
Mr. President, I understand that immigration law is something that this Commonwealth and this country has been struggling with for over 400 years when the first settlers here came illegally to settle at Jamestown. We don't need a state law telling our localities that they can't impede federal law. We already have one. It's called the Supremacy Clause in the Constitution of the United States. In our federal system of government, the federal government has preempted immigration because it is part of the federal power of diplomacy in dealing with foreign governments. This is not just about the rule of law. This is a message bill. Whether it is intended to send a message or not, it sends a message and has to be viewed in a larger context of what is happening in this country today. And you've heard part of it. There are people here in this country legally who came legally, but their visa might have expired. They've applied for a new one, but it hasn't come through yet. There are also people who were born here legally, but their ancestors might have come from another country legally. And what is happening today is both American citizens and people who might be here undocumented are all being caught up in ICE raids to the point, this bill was brought as a public safety measure. It is having the opposite effect. When an ICE agent walks into a courthouse to detain a woman who is there trying to escape her abuser to get a protective order, and her abuser calls ICE agents to go pick her up. This sends a message to everyone who looks like they might not be of an Anglo-Saxon background, whether they were born here or not. It sends a message, you might be rounded up. And that's okay. That's what this bill says, whether we intend it or not, because it's not necessary. We heard in committee, there are no sanctuary cities in Virginia. There are no cities trying to be sanctuary cities. There are cities, and the city of Richmond is one of them, that has said it is more important to us to have community policing where the police will go out and talk to victims and witnesses of crimes and not ask about their immigration status, and will choose not to voluntarily enter into an ICE 287G agreement, which they're not required under federal law to do. Now, that is something that some of our localities are doing because they have found it is more productive for them to fight crime if people are willing to talk to them. And there are a lot of people, yes, children and adults, who are terrified. Again, some of them born here, some of them American citizens, who are terrified to talk to anybody in government, in the police department, because they don't know what the consequences of that will be. And that is why we should not pass this bill.